My bangs are out to play today because I showered last night. After I shower, I can't control them, you know? Hey everyone, it's Sunny. Welcome back to a new video. I actually saw, I think, Dakota Warren here on BookTube make a video like this. I'll put the original video in the description. I'm going to be talking about books that I would sell my soul to read for the first time again. And I have a lot to say about that. So let's start there. You guys know me. You guys know that I have my favorites and that I literally get jealous every single time one of you guys messages me saying that you're reading one of my favorite books for the first time. I literally get jealous. Okay, so the first one and literally the #1 book that I thought of, it literally should come as no surprise. This is like the book series that I feel like was the most emotionally invested in my entire life. Like, I've literally never cried so hard at like any type of film or anything as I have for the finale of this book series, and it is of course The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. If you know, you know. I never cried so hard in my entire life. Sometimes I think back and I'm like, literally, how do I love like a book series like as much as I do with this book series? I feel like I don't really need to explain what this book series is about. It's kind of like the prequel companion book series to the original Mortal Instruments like City of Bones series by Cassandra Clare. This one takes place in Victorian London and it's like in the Shadowhunter universe. I'm not gonna explain it all right now, but like you know the Shadowhunter universe, right? The reason that you get so freaking emotionally invested in this, it's literally just everything? No. The relationship between the characters that really get you. This is like the only love triangle I will ever accept in all of English literature. The Tessa, Will, Jem love triangle. I literally don't understand how Cassandra, this woman is magic. I don't know how she was able to like spin a story like this and create characters like this that just made me so emotionally attached. Like, I have literally never been so emotionally attached to like 3 characters and their relationships like ever in my entire life. And it's just so special. Like, the first time that I read these books, I was so attached and I like couldn't stop thinking about them. And you know that feeling, like you're literally so obsessed. So obsessed. That was actually me when I was first reading it. I have since reread this entire book series so many times. Like, I just return back to it anytime that I want to feel something, anytime that I want to kind of like re-spark like my love for books. Like, the amount of emotional turmoil that is in this trilogy, astronomical. Okay, I'm rambling. I really could go on though. The next book / like book duology should literally come as no surprise. It is of course Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Same reasoning. I just remember being so in love with the relationships in this book. It's so like subtle, so slow moving that you never know when the next like moment is going to be. And so like reading in anticipation for that next moment was honestly like half the fun. After reading it once and then rereading it, you kind of like know when the next moment's gonna be, because how could you not? I'm literally so obsessed with it. I literally memorize every single moment that happens in it. And on top of that, this book has like literally so many plot twists to it that honestly, even rereading it for like the second time, I'm kind of still in the dark about what's happening. I'm kind of like not big brain enough to like catch everything, but man, that first time, literally such a roller coaster. Okay, so the next book series that I want to talk about is honestly one of my favorite book series of all time, and I feel like I don't give it enough love on my channel. I just don't talk about it a lot. One of my OGs and a book series that I was so obsessed with in middle school, and that's the False Prince trilogy, I think, by Jennifer A. Nielsen. Okay, this book series is honestly, in my opinion, one of the best like old school fantasy series. It was really popular during like when I was in middle school. It takes place in like kingdom type world, and we follow an orphan named Sage, and he gets like recruited by this suspicious man named Connor. And it turns out that this Connor guy has been like collecting all these orphans with like the same blonde sandy hair around the same age. The prince went missing a long time ago, and he wants to like pass one of these boys off as like he found the lost prince, but obviously it's gonna be a fraud just so that he can have like political control over the throne once that boy is like on the throne. So yeah, we follow Sage and we follow like some of the other boys who are in the competition, and they're like training, I guess, to like be the false prince. This trilogy has some of the biggest, like best and like well done plot twists I've read honestly in literally my entire life. Okay, the next book series that I want to talk about, and don't at me for always talking about the same book series. You guys know that I have my favorites and that I will promo them literally until the end of the world, literally until I decease. And that is Legend by Marie Lu, which is another one of my nostalgic like middle school reads. Okay, there's gonna be a minor spoiler for the end of this book series in 3, 2, 1, but literally the entire reason that I would sell my soul to the devil to reread this for the first time is because of this one event that happened in the book. Don't add me, okay? You guys know I kind of like this trope even though everyone else in the world hates it, and I know a lot of people hated the ending to this trilogy, and I had to conform and pretend like I didn't like it too, but honestly I was kind of living for it and I loved it a lot, and I still do. The memory loss trope, that epilogue, a good epilogue gets me. I like literally don't know. In the epilogue where they like re-meet like for the first time, that same epilogue from the other POV was also published by the author, and I will like go back and I just reread that religiously because it was so impactful to me, and I loved that epilogue like so much that I wish that I could go back and like experience it for the first time. It really hits you like a wrecking ball, let me tell you, which is the unpopular opinion, but whatever, I stand by my statement. Literally just for that reason, I want to like sell my soul to the devil and read this for the first time. Okay, the next book that I would sell my soul to the devil to read for the first time again, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. If you've read this book, then you know that you get like literally whiplash halfway through, and I feel like that like really adds to the element of surprise. This is like a dual timeline book. You follow one character, she's falling in love with someone in the present day, this epic love story, and then it's like dual timeline with flashbacks back to when she was in high school and her first love with this other boy. You kind of learn more about her childhood and like her parents' relationship and stuff, and you see all like the parallels between them, and like it's just wow. Like at the beginning you're like, oh, okay, and then literally whiplash halfway through the book and you're like, what is happening right now? And it's so impactful. I cried, like I cried at the end of this book. Like it makes it feel more realistic because in real life you would never see it coming, and you kind of like look at the main character and it makes you wonder like what you would do in that scenario. You realize like, oh, you never actually know what you would do unless you were actually in that scenario. It was just such a good read, and it was done really well. Yeah, just reading it with fresh eyes, I feel like makes such a difference. So yeah, take my money and let me reread this book for the first time again. Thank you. Okay, the last book that I'll talk about in this video is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I honestly feel like this book, some of the plot points in this book is literally so out of pocket and so extremely random, and there's so many plot twists. It's one of those books where there's like a lot of stories in it and they all seem like discrete separate stories, and then you don't really realize until the story goes on how they all like interconnect, and it's done like really intricately and like really smartly. Like reading for the first time, it's like everything is like kind of a shock and you're kind of like, what is happening? And then the ending, I literally cried at the end of this book, literally for no reason. Why? It was not a sad ending. It was not a sad ending. Oh, did I even explain what this book is about? I didn't even explain. Present POV, it kind of follows like these two police officers interrogating all these people, investigating this bank robbery, and the other timeline follows like the actual bank robbery happening, where basically the bank robber went into like a cashless bank for cash, but obviously it's a cashless bank, so they're like, okay. So then the bank robber like ran to the nearest apartment complex and ran into like this apartment viewing that was happening at, and everyone in that apartment viewing ended up being like a hostage. Only the people who were in there knows what happened. You're kind of figuring that out, and there's, like I said, so many plot twists. You learn about like all the characters, you learn about like the police officers, and like yeah, you're just like so in the dark for most of the time that it's like so special to figure things out and like all the revelations that happen. Anyway, that's all for this video because I literally need to go study now, so thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet and hit the notification bell if you would like to be notified every time that I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I love you guys so much. Follow me on Instagram at sunnykimchannel. I love you all so much. As always, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.